معرفة.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now let us discuss about the sources of Islamic law. So we talk about the sources. Basically, there are two main sources. One is the primary source, and the second is the secondary sources. Okay. The primary sources we have already discussed. The first is the Quran. We have discussed what is Quran. And the second is the Sunnah. So these are the primary sources. Okay? So what are the primary sources? The first is the Quran and the second is the Sunnah. Now let us discuss what are the secondary sources of Islamic law. In terms of the secondary sources, one of the important secondary source is Ijma. What is Ijma? Ijma is nothing but it is the consensus of Muslim jurists on a particular legal issue at a particular point of time after the demise of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So basically it is the consensus, it is an opinion formed by Muslim jurists on a particular issue. So that is nothing but an ijma. The second important secondary source is nothing but qiyas. These are Arabic terminologies. Now basically what we mean by qiyas is that qiyas means extension of Sharia value from an original case to a new case, because the latter has the same effect or cause. Okay, so this is qiyas. Qiyas basically means analogical reasoning. You see, the methodology of lawmaking in the light of Quran and Sunnah is known as ijtihad. Qiyas is an extension of a Sharia value from an original case to a new case, because the latter has the same effective cause as the former. So, for example, the prohibition of wine drinking is extended to the consumption of drugs during the present time, because the point is that the net effect of alcohol is intoxication, and also the drugs make you intoxicated. So because the effect is same, and hence the scholars have concluded that even drugs consumption is prohibited. So that is basically an analogical reasoning. About the schools of Islamic legal thought, which in Arabic is called as madhahib. So basically madhahib is nothing but a school of Islamic legal thought. Basically there are four main schools under Islamic legal thought. One is the Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i and Hanbali. Now you see, the different schools of Islamic legal thought emerged due to the independent interpretation of general principles of the Quran and Sunnah by various prominent scholars over the centuries. Each school is designated the name of its founding scholar. All these Islamic schools of Islamic legal thought were established in the very early years of Islamic history. Basically, the purpose of each school was to, interpret the general principles of Quran and Sunnah in relation to the specific cases. And this was done by prominent scholars. And a lot of scholars, again under each school of thought, had written many books related to Sharia. The founder of each school was the prominent scholar, and scholars under each school had written various prominent books interpreting the Quran and Sunnah. The purpose of introducing the concept of madhahib is basically because even today we have seen that the Muslims across the world living in various countries follow different madahibs in terms of the interpretations of the general principles. So sometimes we may see variations in the practices of Islamic banking and finance. These variations are related to the variations in the school of thought. So there are some Islamic products which are practiced, for example, in Malaysia, because the Shafi'i school of thought allows those products. But at the same time, those products are not allowed in the Arab world because the other schools of thought, okay, do not allow them. So the people living in the other parts of the world who follow the other schools of thought. But these are minor variations, but not major variations in the practices.